Hey everyone, it's Kai from Kool Collectibles, back again for another figure review. This time it's the Toys Power 1/6 scale 2-figure set with the Patriot UFA and Traitor Chin Kwai. Click the link in the description below to head on over to the Toys Power website for all the details on how to order this figure. Alright, just like the V for Vendetta figure that I did previously, Toys Power were nice enough to send out this 2-figure set to me to review, so huge shout out and thanks again to them for doing that. And I gotta say, now that I've sort of had a play around with this 2-figure set, there are certain things that I'm really impressed with. There are probably a couple of nits to pick that I'll go through, but overall with the accessories that you get, I'll just pan down and give you guys a quick look, and all the sort of clothing and everything else. I guess this is the sort of figure set that Hot Toys used to put out in their DX line that has sort of seemed to die down in the recent years. So hopefully Hot Toys get back to this point, but for Toys Power and other sort of smaller 1/6 scale figure companies, they're really putting out these really great detailed figures in the meantime. So I'll just pause for a second and give you guys a rundown of the box and all the accessories. Alright, so the box itself has some nice artwork on the front here, with the Chinese characters UFA for the Patriot himself, and it's just pretty much a shoebox style with I think it's like a triple layered clamshell inside to hold all the figures and the accessories. So that's fairly standard stuff for these sort of figures, but it's these accessories that really does set this figure set apart from a lot of the 1/6 scale stuff coming out from some of the smaller companies. Now I'm not really across the TV show that this is based off, called the Patriot UFA, that was I think out in China recently. So I'm not sure how accurate this stuff is to that show or to history itself, I guess. But just the level of detail in some of this stuff is pretty amazing. So I'll just go through. You get these little fake porcelain teacups that are on this base, and they do come apart. So you get a couple of those. You get this nice sort of wooden tea table, and the paint is really quite nicely done. I don't think it's wood. I'm not sure if it's actually real wood or not, to be honest, or plastic, but it does have a nice painted sort of finish to it, and it's got the nice sort of design from that sort of era in China. So that's nice. And then it comes with 2 of these wooden styled chairs. So it's got a nice bit of detailing on the back of the chair there. I'm not quite sure what that is, a tree of some sort. But again, the sort of fake varnish or sort of wood wash on the chair itself is really nicely done. There's no sort of coating underneath here, although there are little circles that you could put little rubber stoppers or something like that if you're afraid of that scratching anything. But again, overall the detail and quality of this sort of accessory is pretty damn awesome. So you get a couple of those, which are all nicely done, and then you get this sort of parchment or scroll, which so that's his name there, UFA, and this is Huan Wo Heshan, which effectively means return me my country. So Huan Wo is in Chinese is return to me, and Heshan literally I guess means river and mountains, which in Chinese I guess is your country or your land. And so I mean, I'm not too much across the history of this guy, but I think back in the Sung dynasty or something like that, he was a patriot and fought to save his country against someone. So and the Chin Kwai or Chin Hui is I guess the traitor that formed and delivered his execution. So that's the sort of history behind this set. So that's a bit of nice calligraphy in this with Huan Wo Heshan, and you get pretty much these hands, which are interchangeable. I was a little bit confused about which character these hands were for, but the paint app themselves are pretty stock standard, so you can swap and change between them. So you get this sort of relaxed hand, which is just fairly normal. The paint app's a little bit glossy, I guess. Would have been nicer if it had a bit more of a freckled finish to give it that added bit of realism. And the fingernails, but overall not too bad. So you get a couple of these sort of relaxed hands, and then you get these two fists, which probably fit UFA a bit more in one of the accessories, which I'll show you in a second. You also get a finger pointing one, which is probably more for UFA himself as well. And then you get these relaxed hands, which are probably for Chin Kwai. And then you get this sort of splayed out hand. So that's and then you get the figures don't actually come with hands, which surprised me. Out of the box they don't have any hands, so you pretty much have to install these depending on which way you want to display them. Chin Kwai also comes with this hat, which as you can see is really nicely detailed. So I love the gold sort of patterning on there, and the sort of fake sort of plastic. You know, these are the traditional sort of Chinese outfits that they wore in the day. And this is all sort of hard plastic, so it's not material at all, but the way they've painted it with that sort of, it's almost like a translucent plastic. You can sort of see my fingers up in there. So it's a really nicely done sort of mold with this gold outlining, which is nice. And then it comes with this strap that you can put under his chin and so on. So a great little accessory for Chin Kwai there. You also get this white sort of material. It's almost like a fake cotton or linen type material that you put around his head, and it sort of sits around his neck. And I think it goes hand in hand with this, I think so, or for some sort of look. I'm not quite sure what that look is, but there must be some sort of reasoning behind that. He also comes with his shackles here, or his what do they call it, handcuffs. So I think you just slot his arms through there and then put the hand sculpts on. So you probably use the fists, and I'll give you guys a look at that later when I do it. But this is very nicely done as well. The sort of metallic finish on the actual shackles here aren't too bad, but I do like the sort of really rusted metal look of this chain. I can't actually tell if it's, I actually think it is metal, because the feel of it is actually, it feels metal, which is a really nice touch, and it's just got that nice rusted paint wash to it. So a lot of nice detail there in this. And then of course he comes with his prison gear, which it's like a, what are they? I don't even know what they're called. So you just slide these out for the moment. I'll get to that in a second. So essentially this bit's for his head to stick through, and his arms stick through here, so he's bound like so. And with this little extra bit of detail here, they've got it's like a locking mechanism, which is, I might just have to rest this down. So if you can see that, you pretty much just pull this, and this is probably the most fiddly part of the accessories. I think this little lower bit is meant to be glued on, but because it's so flimsy here, the glues actually come apart on mine, and that's probably a good thing, because when you take this off, this little metal piece here is supposed to be inserted in that little hole there that you can see, but it tends to come off because it's inserted in another hole on this side. And so if you just get your fingernails in there, you can pull that mechanism out like so, and that lock essentially comes apart, and then you can pull that other side out. So you can have these two halves of this sort of shackle set, and again the sort of detail on here is pretty nice. You get this sort of metal look on the corners there with these little extra plates, and the sort of dirty wash on the wood itself is pretty good as well. So a bit of damage and so on, so not too bad. But the tricky thing, of course, is when you have it all set up and you slide these bars back through again. Sliding the bars back through is easy enough, but it's getting this locking mechanism back in place. So you can see that the bar's got a hole right there. You pretty much just try and line it up and then slot that through and line up all the holes. And the bottom one here I can do quite easily. It's the top one that everything doesn't seem to line up very well, and I'll just have to play around and futz with that to see if I can get it in. But just be careful with this sort of locking mechanism coming off with the glue. You can sort of, like if I just show you here, I think you can see the glue spot where that was glued on, but it has come off, and I can't quite remember where it was meant to be. It sort of sits, just going by some of the production photos on their website, it sort of sits above like that, and you just sort of, once it's sort of held in place and locked with the actual bar, everything sort of stays in place fairly well. So it's just a matter of playing around with it and getting it in there right. But that's pretty much it accessories wise, so I'll give you guys a closer look at both figures now. Alright, so here is Chin Kwai or Chin Hui, depending on how you want to pronounce it. And I gotta say, this is one of the best figures I've seen costume wise for quite a long time. And it's definitely the better of the two figures that you get with the set. Now, as you can see with those eyes there, when I first got this out of the box, I was a little concerned about why he was always seemingly looking down. And the head, you can sort of articulate the head back a little bit. But the eyes themselves, I didn't actually realize they're movable. And so they've actually implemented a mechanism similar to the Hot Toys PERS, parallel eyeball rolling system. And I think the mechanism design is actually a lot better than the Hot Toys design that was quite delicate. So I'll just give you guys a look. So at the back here, it's not stuck in by magnets, but they're pegged in. So if I just slide that out, you can see this hairpiece that's got these 4 pegs, and you can see the 4 holes in the back there. And I'll just give you guys a look at the mechanism, if you can see that in the light. Alright, so you can see that there is this little knob that you use, and the black bar is pretty much holding the 2 eyeballs that are connected via those white plastic pieces there. And you just use that little ball to rotate the eyes. And that sort of mechanism from memory looks a lot more secure than the Hot Toys version, which looked like from memory was only like a single bar or something like that. And so the mechanism doesn't feel as fragile as the Hot Toys version. So Toys Power here have done a really good job in, and when you rotate the eyes and move it, it feels actually quite smooth, and so it doesn't feel like there's any sort of resistance. And it's just a matter of trying to maneuver that in decent way. So you can sort of see the eyes moving there, rolling up like he's enjoying himself a bit too much, and down, and so on. So it's a little bit tricky getting your fingers in there, but it's not too bad. And then you just try and straighten them up a little bit if I can. And so you just get him pointing up and back straight, and so you can at least get him looking straight like that, which is pretty damn good. So I really do like that mechanism, and I didn't actually realize that this figure came with that until I double checked their website. So that was a nice surprise. And to put the headpiece back, you pretty much just line up the pegs and just push it in. So there's no magnets or anything in the back there. And the seam itself, I guess it's a little bit obvious from that sort of direction, but you know, looking at how the hair is folded up and then tied up like that in this sort of traditional bun, it wasn't immediately obvious to me until I realized that the seam was there for the access to the mechanism. So I was really happy with the way they've done that. Now this little porcelain needle thing is actually removable, so you can remove that, and then be able to put his hat on like so. So I think you might be able to push it down a bit more, but I'd probably be a bit careful and, you know, paint rub or anything on his actual skin there. And then you just place it under his chin. So there he is in his, I guess, official sort of garb, ready to put down that execution order, I guess. So I just take that from under his chin, if I can. There we go. And there you have it. So then you can just grab that porcelain pin thing again and just stick it through for that sort of look where he's holding all of his hair bun together. So really impressed with that sort of feature. And I guess with the head sculpt itself, in this sort of light, I've got to say I'm pretty impressed with the overall detail in the skin texture. The skin texture is pretty realistic. Some of the other companies tend to have a really dark sort of skin color that's overly tan. This one doesn't have too much of that, so it's pretty good. The only thing lacking is that sort of you know, really realistic freckling that the Hot Toys figures have. But overall, with the goatee there and the moustache and even the eyebrows and so on, I think they've done a pretty fantastic job with this figure. And because it's all molded hair there, the seam line along his forehead and so on is pretty damn good. So overall, I can't really have too many complaints with this particular head sculpt. From a likeness perspective, I can't really comment because I'm not across the actor who portrayed him in the Chinese TV series, but by all accounts it's pretty good. So I gotta say, very impressed with the sort of realism in that head sculpt. Alright, the other outstanding feature for this figure definitely has to be the outfit. This is all sort of flowing satin type material. So if I just splay his arms out, like so, this whole inner or outer section here is one piece that extends all the way down, and I think these two sort of layers are one piece still, but that is an amazingly detailed outer coat. Now this belt thing can be taken off. It's just velcroed at the back here, so I'll just unvelcro that and just give you guys a quick look at the belt. So this is pretty nicely detailed as well. It's similar material, not as fine I guess, but it does feel nice nevertheless. You've got this sort of felt material at the back here, and then this bit comes down with a nice blue stitching and the black sort of patterned material in the middle. So really do like the tailoring in this belt. But the figure itself, the detail on this outfit, the more you sort of look at it, the more layers you really find. Now this, I thought that you could untie this, and you probably can. There are these black straps that come across, but it's fairly tightly tied at the front there, and if I was to undo that, I would probably never be able to get it back to look like that. So there's no way that I'm going to try and take that off. But there are sort of, you can sort of get a glimpse of another layer underneath with this white cloth material there, so you can sort of just make out that he's got a white under sort of shirt there. So I'm not sure if that's supposed to, it was probably supposed to completely cover that, but you can probably futz that. So there is definitely another layer under there, but the detailing and the material that they've used for this outer coat is just sensational. And the tailoring here, so it's got this outer layer with this material here, and then this inner layer. I'm not sure, oh, that could be the white shirt that's underneath, so I thought this was actually attached, but it's not. So if you extend it all the way up, this is part of the white shirt that's underneath. So again, that's got that nice material, that's sort of splayed out like that. And then I'm not sure if that's another layer. No, that's all one piece there. So this is the undershirt, and as you can see, there's his arm with no hand attached. But I guess with that sort of flowing outfit, you probably don't even need the hands. But just the way that sort of folds. So they've got this. The way it's tailored is you put it down and then it sort of just folds behind his back, like so. And then you fold his other arm down, and then that sort of folds at the back, and so it looks like he's, you know, perpetually got his hands behind his back in that sort of traditional Chinese old man, wise man sort of stance. So the tailoring in that sort of area at the top, how it wraps around here and how it flows down the arms is really, really nice. And the way they've sort of made it sort of wrinkle at the front here, or what do they call it, pleats at the front, just really sort of completes that touch. So it all flows all the way down, and all the cuts are quite clean as well. So they're all sort of, if I can just show you, they're also, yeah, sewn or glued on at the ends there. So they're all folded neatly, so there's no sort of fraying or anything at the edges, which is really nice. And then this other layer, sort of, you can lift up this whole sort of layer, which, I don't know, reveals another layer. That feels like it's stuck to where that's tied together. But looks like there's another sort of layer with this thin sheet of material here, and then here is the undershirt or underskirt thing that extends all the way down as well. So you can get that material, and then he's got these white pants on. So that's, oh god, I don't know how many layers that is. 4 or 5 layers of clothing, and his pants here are a very nice sort of white, glistening Kung Fu pant style, very similar to the Hot Toys DX04, which had blue Kung Fu pants for Bruce Lee. And these pants are a very similar material and just feel really nice and soft, and they sort of fit into the boots here. Now the boots are just hard plastic, so again there's no real articulation in the feet or the ankles, which is a shame, and it would have been nice if that had some sort of felt material, and that would have been probably the final touch to such an awesome outfit. But the sculpting itself, you can see that it's sort of, you know, based off of that sort of material, and I do love how it sticks up at the toes here in that traditional Chinese style, and the feet have those sort of soles. So that is just an incredible amount of detail in this outfit. I can't rave any more about this outfit than I guess I already have, with all of these different layers. And just standing the figure up, it's amazing how the figure is quite stable. So there's no stand included in this set, but both figures, I guess probably because of the molded feet, really do stand very firmly without having the need for a stand. But wow, this is probably one of the best outfits I've got in my whole collection for a 1/6 scale figure. The quality of the materials and the tailoring is just pretty much second to none. The body itself, now that's probably one area where Toys Power can really improve. The body does feel a little bit loose perhaps, but overall the shoulders here have, you know, a good range of motion. The elbows, if I can just lift up this material, so it is a double jointed elbow. So as you can see here, it moves fairly fluidly, so you can get you know, quite a lot of degree of motion there. And this one does have a bicep swivel, which I couldn't find on the V for Vendetta figure. So the range of articulation on the particular body they've used here is very good. The knees in the legs here, so the legs can, if I get all this material out the way, the legs here can splay out quite well. Lots of range of motion, because I guess he is designed to sit on the chair, So the fact that he can get his legs all the way up like that and bend his legs all the way down like so to sit on that chair is pretty damn awesome. So I guess the body itself feels a bit loose in a few areas, so it doesn't have that sort of firm feel when you sort of move, and the joint sort of stays like that. But other than that, in the hips here, the arms do look pretty good. They're fairly firm, the shoulders here, and so you can sort of futz around with that. So overall, with this Chin Kwai figure, there's not much that I can really complain about. The head itself, the joint at the neck here feels a little bit loose, and he tends to sort of look down. But you can play around with his eyes and pose him like so, like he's thinking about that execution and so on. But overall, I can't really complain too much about this figure. Definitely the best one out of the set, yeah, 8 out of 10 for me, at least, for just based on this outfit alone. So enough about Chin Kwai, and get on to the main character with UFA. Alright, so this is UFA in his non-army kind of look, where he is the prisoner, and so he does look a bit frazzled and banged up. Now this is the second figure of mine that's got rooted hair. So the first being the previous Toys Power figure with V for Vendetta. Now this one, the hair sort of flays out quite a lot all over the place. They have sort of made it flow back, so that's not too bad. But you might just want to, add a bit of a touch of water or so on to just pat it down. But I'm not sure if it's showing up on the camera here. But there's almost like the grey sort of you can sort of see some grey hairs in there, and they're sort of smattered throughout, so it doesn't give you that sort of straight black look, but it gives you a bit of greyness in there where he's aged a bit, or he's really become a prisoner and they haven't treated him too well. So really nicely done hair there. Now I guess the hairline is probably the main nit to pick with this particular head sculpt. The line is pretty much straight, and so it doesn't really have that integration with the skin at all. So it would have been nice if they, I don't know, added touches of little black paint or something like that along the edge, just to blend it in a bit better. And the ears there, so I guess the hairline comes down quite far there, which if the ears there, it's not too bad. But I guess the forehead line could have been done or integrated just a bit better. The paint application on the head, again, is not, I don't think, is as good as the Chin Kwai figure. So if I get up real close here, now I don't think, yeah, this one doesn't have the eye rolling system, and so he's stuck with that sort of look straight ahead, and it does look a little bit static. I'm not sure if he would have looked better with some sort of more emotion in that head, particularly if you put him in the shackles or anything like that. But the paint app on the skin doesn't have the same sort of realism as the Chin Kwai character. It looks a bit more flat and just subtly a bit more glossy, and so it doesn't have that extra realism. But the blood itself, I think, is nicely done, so that isn't too bad. And the eyes have that nice sort of glossy realism to them as well. So I guess it's suffering from the same sort of issues as Sideshow does, where just the skin texture and the realism in that freckling just isn't quite there for this particular figure. And I guess the other point to note is quite obvious here now, the difference in color of the body to the head. The skin texture and color on the body is quite pale, but the head, as you can see, has a bit of a tan to it. So I'm not sure if you can swap the body. I'm not sure with the Chin Kwai character if you can actually easily get that outfit off and swap the bodies. But this figure does have a a bit of a paint application where it's intended to have this outfit off. So I'll show you guys that in a second. So this outfit is a sort of like a linen material, which is quite nicely done. It does seem a bit too baggy, so I'll just stand him up if I can. So it does flow out quite a bit, but I guess I haven't really tied it very tightly on the side here, because I did take it off and have a play around with it. The blood probably isn't as realistic as they could have made it. It's quite bright red. Maybe a darker sort of shade of red might have been a bit better. And he does have a lot of blood on the back there as well. So it's not too bad, but maybe doesn't have that sort of realism to the sort of blood color in the way that it sort of spatters around the outfit. But I'll try and take this off. So you just untie it like so, and that'll reveal the rest of his outfit. Oh yeah, I forgot about this other tie here. So just untie that. So that reveals these rather baggy pants. The pants are pretty much ridiculously oversized. But if I just take this outfit off, you'll see why they give you that option. So on the back here, so with UFA, one of the things that happened in his life, his mother tattooed these characters on his back. I'm not sure if before he joined the army or when it was, but essentially it's Jin Zhong Bao Guo, which is essentially to serve your country, with the utmost loyalty. So these are traditional Chinese characters here, so you can see Jin Zhong Bao Guo. I do like the scars and so on, but yeah, the sort of paint and the plastic that they've used is a little bit too pale. Would have been nice if it had the same sort of shade as the head sculpt there, because I'm displaying it without the shirt. The change in skin tone is a little bit too obvious. And you get a better look at the body here, so you get some decent rotation in the arms and so on, so nothing to complain about there. But I'm surprised they've only gone with single jointed elbows instead of the double jointed with the Chin Kwai figure. So that's a little bit disappointing. I would have preferred double jointed, especially if he's going to be in those shackles. I haven't actually tried putting the shackles on, but with the head through the hole, so with the head through the hole in the arms, I'm not quite sure if he's going to be able to bend his arms far enough to get it through the holes, but I'll give that a go in a second. So there's a good look at the body. These pants are again a nice sort of rough linen material, but they are, I'm not sure why they've made them so big, unless they're meant to be overalls or something. I don't think they have arms. So if I just undo that, no, they look like pants. I don't think his arms are supposed to be able to fit through there. Unless they are, jeez. Let me see if I can get his arms in. Oh, hang on, just bear with me for a second. Well, this is as far as I can pull up this outfit here with these straps, so his arms can slide through those slots here. So I'm not sure if this is some kind of Chinese ancient straitjacket style thing. So I'm not sure if that's supposed to just tie around his arms there and keep him sort of strapped like that, and his arms can't move because these are so low or something like that. But that's the only sort of explanation I can get for why these pants look so big. So if anyone can help me out in trying to understand that, comment below and let me know. But what else can I say? So the outfit here, you can sort of see some blood wash there, within there, and that's probably a bit more realistically done than the others, so not too overly bright. And you get a better look at his feet here. So he comes with these molded old farmer style or prisoner style shoes, Would have been interesting if this was material as well, but it's just molded plastic. But you get a look at the ankle joint there, which is pretty good. Lots of range of motion. So you just have to be careful to just put that down as far as you can to cover that joint, but that doesn't look too bad at all. So other than that, that's pretty much the UFA figure. I'll give you guys a quick look now just to see if I can put that around his neck and just hold that there. Not sure if you can actually bend his elbow far enough. So like so, stick that, oh no, works fairly well, I guess. Might just be a bit careful for some paint rub on the body and the neck and so on, but seems to hold that pose fairly well. And his other arm here, yeah, you might just have to futz around a little bit and see if you can get all of his joints in, but you'll pretty much have to do that and then put the hand sculpts in there. So I definitely think if they had went with a double jointed body in the elbow, would have helped that pose quite a bit. So yeah, bit disappointing in that area, but other than that, not too bad. Give you guys a closer look at the base body. I'm not sure if this is some sort of reused body or some unique design that they've got, but you got ball joint. I think that's a ball joint there. They can move, so you get a bit of torso bending there. So I think you can just bend that forward like so. So a bit of ab crunch going on there, which isn't too bad, and the waist swivel and the torso swivel, and the legs bend quite a long way up, and they are double jointed knees here as well, so that's good. So you can probably even bend down on his knees, I guess, as you might as a prisoner. So just bend his legs like that. So overall, that doesn't look too bad. So yeah, with the shawl on, it'll probably cover up the paleness of the body and give him a better look. And you just have to play down the hair there, and he will turn out pretty damn nice. So it's a shame the facial paint sculpt isn't as good as the Chin Kwai character, but again, the blood isn't too bad. So I think that's pretty much it for this 2-figure set. I'll just give you guys another quick look at the Chin Kwai figure here. Just to pan up a little bit. But that's pretty much it. So if you're into, you know, Chinese legendary characters and figures from their past, and I guess if you're a fan of the TV show, I think you're really going to love this figure set, particularly this Chin Kwai character, because this outfit is pretty damn sensational. The outfit on UFA here isn't as good, and probably isn't tailored as well, but I guess he is a prisoner, so they probably just chucked him any old outfit to wear. But with all of these amazing accessories that you get a vast array with the 2 chairs, the tea table, and I guess the shackles as well. I gotta say, a pretty damn awesome set, particularly for the price. I think the price is only about $250 or something. So for 2 figures, for $250, you can't really go wrong, particularly with the level of detail in this outfit. So definitely click the link in the description to check them out, and hopefully you can subscribe, because I've got a whole bunch of figure reviews coming up soon, so definitely hang out for that. I hope you guys like the review, so thanks again, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Cheers, bye.